Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. Today we are going to be doing a playthrough of Space Marine Adventures. This is a game that isn't currently available in the UK, but it was kindly donated to the channel by Chris Taylor, so top man. We're going to have a quick look at it and we're going to see how we get on. So the first thing we have to do is obviously set up the game. This is a very simple game, very straightforward. But it's still got some interesting tactical decisions to make along the way. But it's very, very simple. It's divided into levels, and so obviously you start with level 1. Level 1, you pick a board. There are 3 boards, they're double-sided. You can pick any one and any side you want. Pop it on the table. Here's one I made earlier. And then you need an entrance. You will see there are 4 entrances on this board. We're going to put the stairwell next to one of them. We'll stick it there. Why not? It doesn't matter where it goes. On the board, these are spawn points for necrons. And in the middle here, it probably won't come out on camera, but there's like an ankh symbol, a necron ankh symbol. And that is an objective marker. Because what we now do, we have 3 portals. These are double-sided tokens. One of them has an opening on the back and the other 2 are just barriers. So we're going to put one of those on each of those points. We don't know which one is the opening. We have to find that out by travelling to this objective marker. This is a control panel. When we get to that control panel, we have to roll a dice. If you roll a 6, you use an action on the roll of a 6, you can flip over the portal tokens and find out which one is the exit, and then you can run like fun to get the hell out of here before you get overwhelmed by necrons, because this is basically a run and gun mission. This is an escape. I know all this because you get a little mission briefing. So the aim of the mission will be to get to the control panel, activate the control panel, get out of the right exit. Stopping us on the way will be necrons. There are 2 types of necron. There are these chaps, if I can get them to focus. Those are necron warriors. Those are your basic rank and file necrons. There are 12 tokens for necron warriors. And then there are necron immortals. There are 5 of these. And these are like the elite units. There are other types of necrons, but they do not appear in level 1. What we need to do is we need to start by populating the board with a necron token on each of these spawn points. So these guys are just hanging out. Maybe they got wind that there were some space marines coming. But whatever, they're hanging out. That's what they do. The rest of the warriors, so the remainder of the 12 tokens, will be going into the black bag of doom. Along with the 5 immortal tokens. Now you may be wondering what the difference is between a necron warrior and a necron immortal. The answer, not a lot. Mainly the name, the artwork, and a single number. So, these are your rank and files. They have a number 3. This is their resistance level. Necron immortals have a resistance of 4. They are 1 better. They are +1 gooder. I will explain resistances in a moment. But anyway, for this mission, those are our enemies. That's the only guys we've got to deal with. The next thing we need to do is pick our Space Marine force. The game comes with 5 Space Marines. You pick 4. There's always 4 on a mission. You can't take less. It's not really a dungeon crawl. It's more of a sort of tactical puzzle game. It's kind of a blend of Space Crusade and Pandemic, I guess. And yeah, I love Space Crusade. So it's quite easy choice for me which Marines I'm going to take. Because there are 5, like I say, and they each have a very simple special skill, and they have 2 stats. They have an action stat and a range stat. These are relatively straightforward. Range is how far they can shoot. Actions is how many actions they can take on a turn. This game, as I mentioned, is incredibly simple. Space Marines have an option of 2 different types of action. One action is moving, which is literally moving 1 space on the board. From there to there, for example, that's 1 action. The other action is to make an attack on a necron. To make an attack on a necron, they have to be able to see the necron. They can see through their friends, but they can't see through other necrons. They can't see through walls. They can't see through portals. And they roll a dice. There are dice that are colour-coded to each of the Space Marines. It's not necessary, but it's a nice thing. And they need to match this resistance. Well, match, beat. It really is that simple. So, if a Marine has 4 actions, he could move 3 spaces and make 1 attack. If he's got, or he can move twice and do 2 attacks. Whatever he wants. Activating the control panel or attempting to activate the control panel also costs an action. That's a special action. The only thing that separates the Marines is 1, the number of actions they have and the range. For example, Brother Grimm is a heavy bolter dude. He lays down suppressive fire. He has less actions, but he has a greater range. The other thing is they each have a unique piece of war gear, which affects how they operate on a particular turn. So, Brother Gabriel is the Blood Angel, and he has an auspex that says during each of Brother Gabriel's turns you can turn over and read the top card of the labyrinth deck before placing it back on top of the deck. This is important because we will get to that in a moment, but basically when the necrons are going to activate, you flip a labyrinth card and it tells you what's going to happen. So by having Brother Gabriel on the team, you get a little bit of foresight into what is coming up and you can prepare for it. Sergeant Cassius is an Ultramarine, and he has a chainsword, which allows him to add 1 to the dice roll made when he is attacking adjacent necrons. So yeah, he just fires up the old chainsword. Brother Infernus is a Salamander, and he has a flamer, and each time you roll a 6 or more for Brother Infernus when he attacks a necron, every necron in an adjacent square to the attacked necron is also destroyed. So he's crowd control, basically. When things are getting tough, he can lay down the fire to get rid of those enemies. The problem being, you need to roll a 6, and anyone who knows me knows that rolling a 6 isn't usually something that's in my remit. We then have Space Wolf. We have Brother Frostclaw. He has a combat knife, and Frostclaw can perform 1 free attack action in each of his turns, but only against a necron that is adjacent. So he basically gets a bonus action, but it's specifically for attacking an adjacent enemy. And finally, like I say, we have Brother Grimm, the Imperial Fist, and he adds 1 to the dice roll made when he attacks a necron, as long as it's not adjacent to him. So when he's laying down that long-range firepower, he has a much greater chance of actually killing his target. So those are the 5 Marines. They all play differently based on their war gear, and you have to pick 4, like I say. The decision for me is very easy because, like I say, I am an old Space Crusade player, and that makes life a little easy. First of all, I'm taking the Ultramarine, because Ultramarines are my boys. I know that's not a popular thing, but I'm an Ultramarines man. So he's coming. And then Blood Angels. Why Blood Angels come in? Because Blood Angels were my team in Space Crusade. Always used to take the Blood Angels. Used to take the Sergeant with the sword, power sword and the power glove, and used to just go a whaling. Used to be a lot of fun. And finally, I will be taking the Imperial Fist because, again, Space Crusade, they were the 3rd team in Space Crusade. In Space Crusade, they had Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Imperial Fists. These 3 guys are coming. My 4th choice is down to the fact that, 1, this Space Wolf miniature is just awesome, and 2, as I say, my chances of rolling a 6 with the salamander, not great, so I will be taking Mr. Space Wolf. Now, we have to line them up on the entry points. Space Marines can walk through each other, but they cannot end a turn on each other, so you need to bear in mind, you know, how many actions you've got and whether you're going to be able to clear the distance to get out of the way. I have 4 actions for each of my guys, except for Brother Grimm, who can lay down the long-range firepower. I think I'm going to put this dude at the front because he's going to want to get choppy with his chainsword. Then we'll put the Frost Claw dude, the Space Wolf. Then we'll have the Blood Angel, and we'll put the Imperial Fist at the back. He has the least. Oh, that's probably not a good idea because he's only got 3 actions, and so he would need. Let's put him there. Let's put him there, because that way, if I, the reason I'm thinking about this is because you do not get to pick the initiative order for your guys. It's randomly done each turn. I'll show you the deck of cards, and it will all become apparent. This deck of cards. For each Marine that you're taking, there are 2 cards. And then, for the Necrons, on level 1 at least, there are 4 cards. These form an initiative deck. You shuffle them up, and then you flip them one at a time. If it's a Marine, you activate that particular Marine. If it's a Necron, you will flip over a labyrinth card. So you need to bear in mind that you may not be able to move the Space Marines in an optimal formation. You may not have that choice available to you. So I'm just going to lay my reference cards out here for now. I may need to rejig where my camera is eventually. So okay, so we've set up the board, we've picked our team. The next thing we have to do is make sure the labyrinth is prepared for us. We do that by taking the correctly numbered deck of cards. The game comes with 3 sealed decks. They say do not open on them, and then you open them when you get to that particular level. So once you've set up level 1, you get this far, you unwrap the level 1 deck, you give it a shuffle, and that is a labyrinth deck. That will basically, every time the Necrons activate, you flip one of those cards and it will tell you what is going to happen and how they're going to hurt you. In almost all cases, and this is important to note, this isn't really a miniatures game, it's a board game. The Necrons are, as you can see, tokens, and they are tokens for a good reason. They don't need to be miniatures because they don't act like miniatures. They don't act like enemies in a miniatures-based game. They don't attack, they don't move. They just spawn on the spawn points, and if the spawn point is full, then you spawn a Necron on each side of the spawn point. And if those are full, then you spawn on each side of those spaces, and so on. So it's more like the viruses in Pandemic than a sort of an intelligent enemy force. So that's why we've got tokens rather than miniatures, and also obviously it keeps the cost down. It keeps this as a small board game, which is a nice thing to pick up off the shelf and play with the family. And obviously, of course, I probably didn't mention this, but it's probably obvious, it's a cooperative game. The Space Marines are all working together. No matter how many people are playing, you always play with 4 people, with 4 Marines, and they are all on the same side, and they're all in it to win it together. It's a team bonding experience. So anyway, we have the Labyrinth deck ready. We need to form the initiative deck. So like I said, this is the Marine cards, 2 for each Marine, and the 4 Necron cards. And the last thing, the last wrinkle in the rules is that each Marine will get a special piece of equipment, a one-use item. There is a big wedge of these cards. You draw 2 for each Marine, so 8 in total, and then you go through them and you pick 1 for each Marine. What have we got? We have got Warrior Born. It says this card can only be given to Brother Frostclaw, which is good. Brother Frostclaw is in our team. And let's see if we can get that to focus. It says, play this card at the start of Frostclaw's turn. He can perform 2 free attack actions against adjacent Necrons this turn, instead of only 1. Furthermore, until the end of the turn, if Frostclaw performs an attack action against a Necron in an adjacent square and then the attack fails, you can re-roll the dice. That is incredibly good. That basically, his special ability, his combat knife ability, it just bumps him up. It makes him better. That's a good option. We'll consider that. We'll put that on the back burner. Frag Grenade. Use this any time during this Space Marine's turn. Pick a Necron within 4 squares of this Space Marine in a straight line from him. Roll a dice as if you were attacking that Necron, and then roll a dice for each Necron that is in a square adjacent to that Necron, as if you were also attacking them. For each successful attack, that Necron is destroyed. Very cool, especially if you're going to chuck it at a junction here, potential to kill 4 Necron at once. Also good. We'll keep that on the back burner. Blessing of the Omnisia. Use this at any time during the Space Marine's turn until the end of the turn. If the Space Marine attempts to activate the control console on level 1 or 2, they will be successful on a dice roll of a 5 or 6, instead of just a dice roll of a 6. That's going to be very good for me, because I don't do 6s. Flamecraft is going to be used by Brother Infernus. Brother Infernus is not in my team, so I can ditch that card, and I'm allowed to draw a replacement. My replacement is Berserk Counterattack. This card can only be given to Brother Frostclaw. Okay, so I'm going to have to make a decision here because you can only give 1 card to each Marine. Use this card when Frostclaw is wounded. He immediately takes a turn during which you can add 1 to the dice when he attacks. Once this turn is finished, turn over Frostclaw's data card so the wounded side is face up, or take him out of action as normal. Not sure. Speed of the Angel. This card can only be given to Brother Gabriel. Play this card at the start of Gabriel's turn until the end of the turn. Each time Gabriel performs a move action, he moves 2 squares instead of 1. That's going to be quite useful if I need to book it. The Armour of Contempt. Use this at any time during this Space Marine's turn. Until the end of this round, that Space Marine cannot be wounded. It's going to be good if I feel like I'm likely to get damaged. Bolter Drill. This is specifically for Brother Grimm, the Imperial Fist with the heavy bolter. Play this card at the start of Grimm's turn. Until the end of the turn, Grimm cannot perform any move actions, but each time he performs an attack action and the attack fails, you can re-roll the dice. You can only re-roll the dice once. So he can basically go a little bit gun-ho nuts. That could be useful. Yeah. And we have Narthisium. Use this at any time during this Space Marine's turn. Turn the data card of the Space Marine or that of a Space Marine that is standing in the square adjacent to him so that the wounded side is face down. So basically healing a wounded Marine. This is something I should point out. Marines have 2 wounds. They start healthy. If at any point a Necron would spawn on top of them, they take a wound and they become wounded. If another Necron would spawn on top of them, they are dead. That's the only way the Necrons attack, is by basically spilling over and spawning on top of you. So, what do I want to do? I've got some good options here. I think Frostclaw's going to take his Warrior Born card, which is just going to be off the bottom of the camera there. I think... Ooh, I do want to take the Blessing of the Omnisia. Just because I'm rubbish at that sort of thing. And I think Sergeant Cassius is probably going to be the guy guy for the job. He's going to be the one to try and hack his way to the... yeah, he's going to be the one to try and hack his way to the middle, I think. Frag grenades. I've got a couple of junctions. I've got a couple of junctions here and here where it could be really helpful. So I think maybe we'll give that to Brother Gabriel, and we'll give the healing ability to Brother Grimm. It should be noted that these special cards do not cost an action to use. They're like a bonus action on top of your normal allocation of actions for the round, which is good. So there we go. We've got all of our guys lined up. They each have their dice, and I've accidentally picked up the Salamander's dice. I'll swap that in a minute. And I think we're good to go. Right, there's my grey dice. Here's my handy dandy dice rolling doodad. It's got my name on it so you remember who I am. Let's put the dice to one side for a moment. Or we can put them on the... No, we'll put them at shop. Don't mind me. I'm just figuring things out for myself. I probably should have done that before I rolled the camera. Got my dice cup. We're good to go. So, just to reiterate the rules, I'm going to flip one of these cards. It's going to tell me who operates, whether it's a Space Marine or whether it's the Necrons. If it's the Necrons, I flip a card and spawn accordingly from the Bag of Doom. If it's the Space Marines, I get my actions, I can move and attack. And I'm trying to get to this objective. Let's go. Enough talking. Starts with me to go on, eh? That's a Necron activation. So we flip the top card of the labyrinth, and it says, Invasion Beam, fluff text. Place one Necron minion counter on translocation square 1, and then place one Necron minion counter on translocation square 2. Now, obviously, all of the translocation squares are full, so we are immediately going to get some nasty overflow. So, Bag of Doom. Translocation square 1. That's an immortal. And that's immortal. We're doing well. And then translocation square 2, which is on a junction. This really couldn't have gone much worse as an opening turn. I need one more. Alright, yeah. Okay then. Flip another card, I guess. Put that in my discard pile. Yep. Place a Necron minion counter on translocation square 1. Oh. That would be the square at the top. At some point, my Space Marines are going to have to move. So, first one, it's just another warrior. Second one, another warrior. On the plus side, I can't spawn anymore on location 1, because once you get to the end, you don't go around corners. Right, my Blood Angel, who is right at the back, gets to do something. It's all going so well. Right, during each of Brother Gabriel's turns, you can turn over and read the top card of the Labyrinth deck before placing it back. So that's what we'll do. So this is we're going to take the top card of the Labyrinth deck and we're just going to have a quick peek. Right, we know, I've had it upside down, that we're about to get a spawn on the second translocation spot, which is here. That being the case, we know that they're going to spawn outwards. We're going to get a spawn come down to here. So I don't want to be standing in this row, basically. I best start clearing out some space. I haven't got a lot of options. He's at the back. He's only got 4 actions. It's not ideal, is it? Right. Do I want to use my frag grenade straight away? No, I'm not even in range of the frag grenade. It's only got a range of 4, so it only popped to there. Right, well, let's start by doing an attack. I'm going to put a red dice in the red cap. I'm going to attack this warrior. I need a 3+. That's a 4+. Okay, so that's not too bad. This guy dies, but he goes straight back into the bag. He will immediately be available to respawn. And now, I guess, I'm not going to move that marine at all. He's going to stay exactly where he is. The reason being, if I use his other 3 actions to go 1, 2... Well, I can't, because it'll be 1, 2, 3, and he'd be stuck there, and he's not allowed to end his turn on the top, and he's got nothing else he can shoot at. Yeah, this is going swimmingly. Reinforcements on translocation 2. So, we need another 2, because he's going to spawn this way and this way. On the plus side, I should get, you know, a number of Space Marine turns in a row. Well, there's an Immortal sat on the control panel. And there's an Immortal. So I've got all 5 Immortals on the board already. Good. Good, good, good. Next. Imperial Fist. Okay. It's time to bring the smack down. So, I can add 1 to my dice rolls for Brother Grimm when he's attacking a necron that is out of range. That isn't adjacent, that is at range. So, yellow dice. And I'm going to shoot this guy. That's a 1. That's a miss. That's my first action. I'm going to take another shot. Bearing in mind, he's shooting an Immortal, and he's getting +1 on his dice roll, so he only needs a 3. And there it is. So, with his second attack, he kills that Immortal. That Immortal will go back into the bag. The benefit there is not huge, because I've only got 1 action left, and I cannot see anything, and I cannot move, because my Ultramarine is in the way still. Hurrah! Let's now we're cooking with gas. Space Wolf time. Right. Ooh. 4 actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he can. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I get a free attack on that Immortal fella there. So let's do that. Needing a 4+. That didn't work. And that is it. That was my 4 actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and my free attack. Oops. Oops. It's translocation 1. This is good. I can't place anything because we're already maxed out along the top. So nothing will happen. That's okay. Next, Imperial Fist. That's not very handy either, is it? I can't get a bead on anything. Yeah. Well, I can do this. I can go 1, 2, and I can shoot diagonally through there because my own Space Marine isn't getting in the way, and you can shoot diagonally. That's not going to be classed as adjacent because I'm not. So I have one action left, so I can make one attack. It's against an immortal who is normally 4+, but I get my +1, so it's 3+. And that is a 5. At the moment, the Imperial Fist is the only one who is doing anything of any worth. Well done, Impy. I knew you weren't rubbish. Right, let's draw another card. Ultramarines. Okay, now we're going. Now we're cooking. I want to get to this point here, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to attack. This is a normal warrior. I'm adjacent. Because I'm adjacent, I get +1. So naturally, I roll a 1. The only result that was going to fail. Good. Next. This dude. Right, well I might as well have a little look at the labyrinth card. Invasion beam, they're going to come in on 5 and 6. So first they're going to spawn over at 5, and then they'll spawn at 6. That's okay, because they're kind of out of my way over there at the moment. So, it's just worth knowing. And my guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, and his 4th action is wasted. I've been completely inefficient on this first turn. Wolfie. Oh, okay. Well, I can do ranged attacks. I don't have to be adjacent. I just don't get a free attack at the moment. So I'm going to shoot at this warrior here with my first action. Keep counting my actions for me. I'm likely to forget how many I've done. So this is needing a 3+. That's 1. Bang. I've already activated him once. One of these is going to be the Ultramarine again, so I don't want to get in his way. So I'm going to stay where I am. I'm going to shoot this warrior here. Oh, or do I? Because that was 1. It'd be 2, 3, free action. Could potentially clear out that, couldn't I? But yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So 2, 3. So I was talking to myself then. I was just trying to figure out if it's worth getting my free attack action, and it is. I'm going to attack this guy because I want to clear the way to that location there. So this is a free attack. And that's 5. So he's gone. And I've got 1 action left, which is a regular action. So I might as well just take another close combat attack and try and get rid of that other warrior. No. Oh well, it's too good to last. 2 warriors down. 2 warriors go back into the bag of doom. I hope I'm not making any mistakes, by the way. Don't ever use one of my videos as a proper learning tool, because I have a tendency to forget cards or do things a little bit wrong, because I'm looking at the camera, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting everything shot, I'm trying to explain what I'm doing, and yeah, sometimes there may be mistakes, but hopefully we're doing all right. Ultramarine. I knew he was coming. So, I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to attack this guy with my 3rd action. I get +1 on the dice roll. He is an immortal. But it's okay, because I've got a 6. So I've absolutely nailed it. And right, this is a decision point. So I went 1, 2, attack 3. I've got 1 action left. I could either shoot this guy to clear up a bit of space, or I could move onto the control panel so that next turn that my ultramarine activates, I'm in the right position. So what do I want to do? Is it worth trying to have a go at this guy and clearing him out if I can? Or it's not likely that he's gonna do anything at the moment. I don't think he's gonna cause any problems. So I'm going to just move onto the control panel. Maybe that was the wrong call. I don't know. We will see eventually. He's going back in the bag. Last activation card is obviously the Necron. We knew that was coming. So we flip this and we are spawning on 5, then 6. Like I say, I'm not too worried about them at the moment on 5 and 6. So we draw them one at a time. So 1 here, warrior, warrior, and then we'll just do here, then here. There's little immortal. All the weenies are over there, which means all the immortals are going to come and bother me. Right, that's it. We've got to the end of the stack of the initiative cards. So I'm just having a little shuffle off camera. Don't mind me. Ooh, or misses. Is this fun for anybody? I'm having fun. Is anybody else having fun? I hope you're having fun. There's a shuffled initiative deck. Let's go again. Space Wolf. That works out quite splendidly because my Space Wolf is going to go on a rampage. Ooh, And I'm thinking, with a great big row of Necrons ahead of him, and he is adjacent, it may be worth playing the Warrior Born card, because what that's going to do, I get 4 actions as standard. I'm getting +1 action as a free attack against an adjacent target, and this will give me an additional free attack and rerolls on attacks that are adjacent. So let's do that. I'm going to play this. This is a 1-use thing. It doesn't cost an action. That will be discarded for the rest of the game. But we're doing this. So, first of all, this is one of my free attacks. That's a 6. Smashed it. He's gone. So that was one of my free attacks. And then I'm going to move with standard. And I get a second free attack because of my special card. That's a 1. But because I'm adjacent, I get to re-roll it. You only get 1 re-roll. You can never re-roll a re-roll. And of course I get a 1 again. But that's okay because I've still got 3 standard actions left. So we're going to go for, this is another attack. And that's a 2. But because it's another attack action, I am allowed to re-roll this one again. And I get a 5 this time. She's gone. That leaves me with 2 actions. So I'm going to move, and then I'm going to, oh, do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Because I still get a reroll on it for my final action. Yeah, let's do it. It says 2 dice rolls to kill an immortal. Requires a 4+. Nope. And my reroll. Darn. Okay, so if anything spawns on location 1, my Space Wolf's going to get some hurt. That was not the triumphant like ripping and shredding and general bloodshed that I was, or oil shed I should say. Necrons are robots, they don't have blood. Do they have oil? Green goo. I don't know much about Necrons, to be honest. It's not one of the areas of the lore that I'm particularly knowledgeable on. So there's probably somebody right now throwing something at their screen because I just said that. I do apologise for being an ignoramus. Let's draw another initiative card. Necrons. Let's hope it is not spawn point 1. Chronofield. The next Space Marine who has a turn, whether in this round or the next, misses their turn. Place this card face up next to the board until the end of the next round as a reminder. Oh. Okay, I'll pop that there. So, let's see who's next. Necrons. Until the end of the next round, the resilience of all immortals is increased to 5. Oh, okay. That's a long time. Place this card face up next to the board until the end of the next round as a reminder. I'll just line up my reminders here. You know, that is a really horrible card because it's until the end of the next round. So a round in this game is once through the activation deck. So right at the beginning of this round, they've gained their reanimation protocols, and that will stay in place until the end of the next round. So we've got to get through this deck twice before that is no longer applicable. Ouch. Imperial Fist. Now, the Imperial Fist, the Chronofield activates, so he does nothing. Yeah, this isn't going well. Next, Ultramarines. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Blessing of the Omnisia, which basically means that each attempt that I make on the control panel will succeed on a 5 or 6. Until the end of the turn. So, right, I'm going to put you over there for a minute. Where am I going to put this so I remember? I'll put it there next to the discard pile. Okay. 5 or a 6, first action. That's a 1. Second action. That's a 2. Well, going by this basis, I'll get a 3 and then a 4, and then I still won't get in. Third action. That's a 2. Good gravy boats. Fourth action. I got no rerolls. I got nothing. That was an absolute disaster. Right. I guess I'm just standing there for a little while then. Next card. Imperial Fist. Okay, now we're going to get some action. Okay, a little bit worried about my space wolf, but there's not a lot I can do about that. I can't move diagonally, and my Imperial Fist only gets 3 actions. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and we'll take a shot at this guy here. So it's 1 dice. I get +1. It's only a warrior, so it's 3. Because it's only the immortals that got toughened up. And that's a 4. So at least something went my way. Next, Space Wolf. Okay, I don't have my +1s anymore, but we can still go on a little killing spree, hopefully. First of all, I now need a 5 or a 6 to kill the immortal that I'm standing next to. I'm going to free attack him first. That's a 6. Showing the Ultramarines how it's done. Right, I've got some actions left. I've got a full complement of 4 actions. I'm going to go 1, and then I'm going to use a second action to attack this warrior, needing a 3. And that's a 4. I've got 2 actions left. The problem is I don't really want to stand on the teleporter, because if I move forward 1, I'll get 1 attack left on the immortal, but I need a 5+ to kill it, and I'm standing directly on a teleporter. If I draw anything that causes a necron to appear on that teleporter, I'm taking a wound, and At the moment, we're not doing too badly in controlling my side of the board. So I'm going to stay where I am. It's a little bit inefficient, but I'm just a bit worried about standing there. So I won't. Blood Angel. Let's see if my Blood Angel can do something useful. We'll have a look at the card. Okay, so it's 3 and 4. And the next one's coming up. So 3. Sorry, it's not in focus, is it? Get in focus. 3 and 4. So I will place a token on 3 and then a token on 4. 3 is here. So it'll be 1. So it'll go 1 there and 1 there. And 4 is here. So it'll be 1 on there. So I just need to make sure I'm not standing on there, basically. I don't know where I want to go. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to try and clear out some of the guys down here. Because we have to remember, I don't know which of these portals is actually my way out. So I need to... It's probably going to be this one, isn't it? The one that's going to be completely caked with necron goo. But that's it. That's my 4 actions. That's all I can do. Ultramarines. Here we go again. Four chances to roll a 6. I don't get 5 or 6 because I've already used my card, so I just need a 6. That's a 1. I'm getting a spot of deja vu. Anybody else? 5. Couldn't have got that last time, could I? There it is. So that's the 6. So at this point, we need to look at a little mission briefing card. And it says, alright, once the control console has been successfully activated, flip all the portal counters over. One of them will show an open symbol and is now treated as an empty square. The other 2 remain in place. Place the spare stairwell tile adjacent to the newly opened portal so that it extends from that square. The game ends if all of the Space Marines have been taken out of action, all the Space Marines on the board are on the new stairwell tile, or the labyrinth deck runs out. If at the end of the game, all 4 Space Marines are on the new stairway tile, the team wins a major victory. And we'll look at the other victory conditions when we get there. So portal. Oh. That one's still blocked. And that one is still blocked. This is my way out. That looks promising, doesn't it? Let's put a stairwell up there. Right. I can remove that tile now. That does look promising. Let's see what happens. I've got 1 action left. Don't want to forget that. Run, guys, run. The necrons, sensing that the portals have opened. Kick off. So 3 and 4. We knew this was coming. 3 and 4. Bag of Doom. So we first, you have to do them in order, so it's 3 first. 3 is full, so we put an immortal there, and then a warrior down here. By the way, I will just say, not overly keen on these tokens. A couple of reasons. One, they're not that distinct. I mean, the warriors have got a green gun and they're a different colour, and the immortals, it's a different piece of artwork. But they're not hugely distinct on the board. And they could quite easily have put the resilience number on the token. And I think that would have been a better thing to do. I mean, you could have the cards as well, but I mean, there's space on the token to have put a number, and it just would have made it a little bit smoother to play. Space 4 is open. This is the first time, I think, that we've teleported a necron onto an empty space, so it's literally just 1 there. And because we cleared that space out, we don't get a little explosion of necrons. Space Marines would probably like an explosion of necrons. Speaking of explosion of necrons, here we go again. It's 5. That's here. But we are full up. We're completely full on that row. We have benefited from the big row of necrons that we don't actually have to worry about. Next card. Blood Angel. Now, obviously I came down here to shoot some guys. I don't need to worry about these guys now. So I'm going to shoot this guy up here. I have a frag grenade, but I don't need it. So, standard shooting action, requiring a 3. And that's a 6. Blood Angels. Once they're in action, they know what they're doing. I've got 3 moves left. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I fear now I should have taken the... I had a card that I could have taken for the Blood Angel that would have allowed me to move 2 spaces for each movement action. But I didn't take it. I took the frag grenade instead. So, you know, the benefits of hindsight. Oh look, it's the end of the round. It's time to do a shuffle. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. That was the end of the round in which the reanimation protocol came into play. So we're now in the round where at the end of the round it will disappear. I could well still be on the board at that point because my Imperial Fist is going to be slow and steady. Which, when you're in a necron infested maze, probably doesn't win the race. I fear that running as quickly as possible is the right way to go about it. New card. Blood Angel. Right. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I've got an action to shoot. Needing a 5 or a 6 because it's an immortal. And it's a 2. That's because I started talking about how once Blood Angels are in the action, they're going to kick off. I could use my frag grenade. Because I could pick the immortal. I'd roll the dice as if I was attacking normally, and then roll the dice for each other necron, which would free up that space there. But I don't think I need to at the moment. I'm going to save that just in case. I may live to regret that. Necron reinforcements. Place a necron minion on space 6. Space 6 is down here. Now, this is interesting because this way is full, but this way is not. So I will spawn one here, but I don't spawn any going that way. And what have I got? It's an immortal. Hopefully, that's not going to cause too many problems. Yeah. Talking of problems, here we go again. Space 3. This is actually good for me. This is space 3 here. We're completely full up. The only thing that's doing is it's important to note that even though they're not generating necrons onto the board, each card that gets drawn, that's a ticking clock. I need to get off the board before this deck runs out. So it's still piling on some tension, even though it's not actually generating any enemies. Oh, for goodness sake. On the plus side, I'm going to get a whole bunch of Space Marine turns in a row now. Necron reinforcements. Place a Necron reinforcement counter on square 3. Square 3 is here. So again, I fear the stars have aligned somewhat here. We're doing all right. Ultramarine. He's going to go 1, 2. He can't go 3, 4, so he's got to stand there. That's all he can do. He can't even see anyone to shoot anyone. I just have to burn his actions. Necrons. That's the last Necron card, which turned up just because I said I should get a lot of Space Marine actions in a row now. And we are spawning on space 4. Now, this is one of those situations where it would have been better for that to happen before I took my Space Marine action, because spawn 4 here is here. Obviously I used 2 actions to get around here. I would have had 2 actions to shoot at this guy. But as it is, because of the order of the initiative, I had to waste my 2 actions only for this warrior to turn up here. And now we've got a bit of a predicament with my guy here, because if he gets his activation next, he doesn't get +1 when he's adjacent. So, and I don't really want to be backing off. So, problems. So I've got 3 actions. I'm attacking the warrior that's adjacent to me. I do not get a +1 on my dice roll. So I'm just doing straight up 3+. Luckily, just about squeaked it. So that's killed that. I've got 2 actions left. I'm going to go 1, 2. Because I need to, although it's tempting to start, laying down some gunfire this direction, trying to wipe out some of those guys that are creeping up behind me, I really just need to get out. People keep saying that to me, you need to get out more. Ultramarine. Ooh, Okay. 1, 2, 3. I could attack the immortal. I've got a good chance of killing it, but I'd be left standing on that space. I'm more inclined to just go for the run. So 4th action over there. Blood Angel. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Before I do that, he's about to go and stand on the tile anyway. So I'm going to throw that frag grenade. I might as well. I'm going to throw the frag grenade. I potentially could have saved it in case something... Maybe I want to do that. In case something spawns on point 1. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to save it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Prince of Persia Sands of Time moment there. Imperial Fist. He's just going to move. 1, 2, 3. Space Wolf. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well I've got 4, which will get me there. I'm going to go 1. I'm going to take a free action on the immortal just as I go by. Because why wouldn't I? Needing a 5+. Naturally I get 6. Because he's a Space Wolf and he's a badass. So that was 1 free action. 2, 3, 4. I think I've got this in the bag now, guys. Space Wolf. He's just going to move to the end of the tunnel, clear some space. And that's it, we're in a new round. The reanimation protocols are discarded. The immortals go back to normal, which is a good thing. Frankly, I think I've pretty much got this down now. I can't see me losing at this point. Put it that way. But famous last words, isn't it? Imperial Fist. That's a problem. Because I don't want to stand on there and take a wound. So I'm going to go 1. Actually, no, it's okay, because I've got the Narthisium. So I'm going to go 2. Oh, it's just whether... No, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to shoot this guy. With a +1, so I need a 2+. That's 5. So that kills that warrior. I've got 1 action left. Now the reason I didn't want to move there is because if I move there and then I draw a card and it's a spawn on point 1, he's going to take a wound. If I then draw another Necron card and it's a spawn on point 1, he's actually going to die before he had a chance to activate again. Because I was thinking, if I take a wound, it's okay, I'll just use this and heal myself. But there's always the potential when you're standing on a teleport space that you may take multiple wounds before you get a chance to do anything about it. How long have I been talking for at this point? It must be quite some time. Necron card. While I'm filming this, I don't know whether I'm going to split this up into several videos or not, but when I come to edit it together, I'll have a look and see how long I've banged on for. Spawning on space 5. Now, space 5 is here, so we will actually spawn in the bit we just cleared out, which isn't so bad. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. I have realised that I've failed to be spawning in this way. When I was spawning on point 5, I failed to spawn this way. So there should have been a couple. There probably should be a couple of necrons there. So that's something to watch out for, because normally you're just spawning in 2 directions, but on a T junction you're spawning in 3 directions. I'm pretty sure I drew a 5 at one point and didn't spawn necrons there. As it stands, it wouldn't have made a difference because you can't spawn around corners. None of my Space Marines have ever been standing on those 2 spaces. The furthest anyone travelled was to there. So I don't think it would have actually had an impact on play. But yeah, if I'd have decided to come around this way, I would have been making life a little bit easier for myself by not having necrons there. Oops. Space Wolf does nothing. He's just chilling. Space Wolf still doing nothing. Ultramarine. Let's just bug out. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Necrons. Spawning on point 2. That's here. Just a warrior. Necrons. Naturally, spawning on point 1, which is there. So that I would have actually taken a wound with my Imperial Fist. It's only a warrior. Ultramarine. My Ultramarine has a range of 4, so 1, 2, 3. You can shoot this guy. I get to just stand in the exit, laying down suppressing fire from my buddies, because this Blood Angel just ducks to one side. You can. So 1, but that's a 6, and that kills that warrior. My remaining 2 actions are wasted because I'm already in the tunnel and there's nothing else in line of sight. Blood Angel, he's just going to move up 1. Imperial Fist moves 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is all 4 Marines in the tunnel. Done. Where's that card? Dun 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 dun. If at the end of the game all 4 Space Marines are in the new stairway tile, the team wins a major victory. So what would my other options have been? If only 3 Space Marines made it, then the team wins a minor victory. If 2 Space Marines make it, it's a draw. Any other result is a loss. Well, that's it. That's a major victory for the Space Marines. And yeah, that's a pretty fun game. This is obviously level 1. Level 2 ramps up the difficulty. There's a different type of enemy called a Lich Guard, and they have a resistance of 5+ as standard. And then there's a big bad overlord in level 3 that you have to destroy. Each level has its own labyrinth deck, which will obviously have escalating threat in it, so you're more likely to get problems. We were pretty good at maintaining our threat here, despite my terrible dice rolling. But yeah, as you play through the game, you're gonna meet tougher challenges. There's going to be more special cards that do horrible things to you, and bigger spawns, whereas rather than just spawning on one spawn point, they're spawning on 2 or 3. So yeah, it's going to escalate up, but that was, I wouldn't say it, I mean, I got through without taking a wound or anything, so I guess that seemed pretty easy. I don't know whether it's always going to be that easy. I think obviously with the order that your characters come out, the order that the cards come out, the position of things on the board, it can change quite rapidly, I would think. And as you can see right at the very start of the game, I had a bit of a hard time just getting out of the tunnel and actually making optimal use of my turns for the first round. And if you end up accidentally getting clagged up in a corner somewhere, you can probably find yourself running through the card deck and running out of time before you actually get to achieve your objectives. And of course, there is always the risk with an objective that requires you to roll a dice and get a 6, as I proved. You can burn through some actions doing that, and it could potentially have been problematic. Obviously, I could have brought in other Space Marines so that, you know, on my last action I could have moved the Ultramarine out, so move the next one in, and then he'd have a go and so on. But really, once you've got one person on a space, the most efficient thing is probably just to keep plugging away at it. I would definitely recommend taking, although it didn't benefit me, I would recommend taking the ability that allows you to roll a 5 or a 6 to complete that objective. Just because needing to roll a 6 on something that's that critical, especially when you're under pressure from the clock and from spawning enemies, I think that sort of thing is beneficial to have. But anyway, I think that's it from me. Did I have a man of the match? I don't know. I think they all pulled their weight eventually. I think I forgot a couple of times to use the Blood Angel's ability to look at the card deck, especially towards the end where I was pretty sure I was going to win anyway. But that is an amazing ability. I think I wouldn't leave home without the Blood Angel, just because I think that's a really good ability. I think the Space Wolf is pretty good. And certainly I like the ability to be able to rev up a chainsword and kick some ass with the Ultramarine. The Imperial Fist, is good for long range firepower, but only having 3 actions is a bit of a downer. But the Salamander, who has the flamethrower, also only has 3 actions, and the Salamander's special ability only triggers on a 6. It's very effective. If you do roll that 6, you can potentially kill 3 or 4, or I think 3. It'll be 3. No, 4. 3. Yeah, it'll be 3. Maybe. Yeah, 3. So, yeah, you could kill 3 things. I went off on one then. Crikey, it must be late or must be low on coffee or something. But yeah, the ability to roll a 6 and wipe out potentially 3 things is okay. But the Imperial Fist, his ability applies to every long range shot he takes, which feels a little bit. It's not as powerful, but it's more consistent. So I think I probably picked my dream team of the 4, and yeah, the Imperial, the Blood Angel and the Ultramarine and the Space Wolf are definite worthy contenders for being insta included in every mission, I would say. But that is that. My throat is getting scratchy. I want to go and put the kettle on and have a cup of tea. This is Space Marine Adventures, not available in the UK at the moment, but I very much hope that Games Workshop do release it. Did I say not available in America? Or not available? It's late, trust me. Only available in America, not currently available in the UK, but I hope that's something that Games Workshop changes, because this is actually a fun little game. The miniatures go together really easily without glue and without clipping and things like that. It's really easy to understand. It's something that you can get the family around and everyone can understand. On my turn I can move one space, or I can shoot by rolling a dice and matching a number on a card. It's very straightforward, but there's scope for tactical play. You need to think about how you're going to maximise your actions each turn. I like it. I think it's good. I mean, it's not like world shattering. It's not the best thing that Games Workshop have ever made, but it really is a good introductory game that introduces a little bit more of the universe to people who may not have experienced it before, with high production qualities, really good quality cards. Everything is lovely. The artwork's all lovely. The miniatures are lovely. It's lovely. I'm very happy to have this in my collection. I think it's wonderful. What do you guys think? Did it look okay to you? Would you like to see me play through the second level, which I believe would involve a double the play area, a bigger map? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if this playthrough was awful to watch. I've tried a different camera setup. All the usual things. Talk to me. I'm lonely. And finally, thank you once again to Chris Taylor for sending in the copy of Space Marine Adventures. None of this would have been possible without you, sir. I very much appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.